Why is it so interesting for you?
You know, everything that's a secret, you want to know about it. So mainly, that's the reason. I have tourists here from Israel, and also people that descend from the Jews in what we call the Jews from the Iberian Peninsula. We call it Sephardic Jews. And nowadays many people came to come back to their roots, so they come around these regions. Some of them know that their family were expelled from here, and they want to come back, so they want to know about it. So I didn't know before I came here. I had no idea about anything 5 years ago, because still nowadays, if you open a book at school, you won't find too much about the Jews, nor the Inquisition, still nowadays. So of course, before I came here, I had no idea of this whole story. Well, I knew that there were Jews in Belmont, but no more than that. But the thing is that they had to live in this secrecy till the 80s, so it's till 20 years ago, or less than 20 years ago. Well, okay. The main reason I came here was to do the rebuilding of this house, which belonged to my great-grandfather, and it was in a ruin. So it was like the only thing that I still had from my from the family of my father. In a way, it was the roots of the family from the side of my father. First year, because I used to work in a company with 150 people, and I was used to live in Lisbon. The first year, it was a bit of a shock. But then, because even though I lived in Lisbon, all my holidays I went to my grandparents from my mother that live in a farm in a little village like this. So I was used to this kind of village and the life in a village. So it was not very strange for me. People are nice people, and neighbors are nice, and they're always bringing me things and eggs and vegetables and this and that and potatoes and so on. So people are friendly, so I have no problem. If I want a cinema, I go to Covilhã, or if I want theatre, I go to Guarda, or if I want a concert, I go to Covilhã or Guarda. And if I need to have if I need to see too many people and too much noise, then I go to Lisbon.
Did they bring you the food the first day or later too?
Oh, they bought it later, when they knew me, because before they knew me, they only think that there comes someone from Lisbon, and they think that people from Lisbon are snob. So in the first days, they won't bring anything until they know me, and then they were friendly. Everybody has their own place where they grow things, and they want to show me that they grow good things, and the other one wants to show me that he grows good things also. So everybody, and besides that, they are friendly, and they want to give me these vegetables that are fresh, that are grown with not too many chemicals, and that have more flavor, and so on. Now I started doing a study about all these marks in the walls, to see if they appear more in certain parts of the cities or the villages, or if they are because they should be more on the right side, because that's where the Jews had a very sacred thing which is called mezuzah, which is a hole that has a prayer in there that says every time you go in and out of your house, you have to have that over there, so you remember that there's only one God. That's a prayer from the Old Testament. Things that people try to see if there's any kind of match between these different crosses and different signals, and where they are, and if they're in a window or in a door, or so on. Well, that's one thing. The other thing is also about Jews that were expelled from Portugal, and for instance they went to Holland and they were doctors of the king or painted by Rembrandt or so people that were well known. And now I'm studying with a friend of mine that also has a house like this near Castelo Rodrigo, and he also is interested in these. So we are studying a Jew that was born in Castelo Rodrigo, and that became a doctor, and his father was also a doctor, and that he went to Amsterdam. He was painted by Rembrandt and so on.
Is the history of this small village with 200 inhabitants so important for you?
Well, no, of course it's not only the village by itself, because it's a very old village. And of course it has a Roman past also, and it has the Jewish heritage, and it has the Roman road and so on. So that's important for me because it's important for my business, of course, and because it's something that's not well studied. So in a way it's something that has to be, it would be good to study about. We could manage to stay alive, even though we had 300 years of Inquisition in Portugal. But probably because they were far away from the big centers where the Inquisition was harder. They couldn't, and also because they married in between them, so they could maintain all of this secrecy. They could maintain the community in Belmont. And they also, of course, they had to go to the church, the Catholic Church. And even though, and to marry by the Catholic Church and be buried in the same cemetery and so on, but they always, before they did their own rituals at home, so in secret. That's why they're called crypto-Jews. So in secret, they maintain their rituals in secret. Nowadays, their religion is not Catholic, nor the Jewish official religion. It's kind of their own religion because, of course, because they had to go to the church and so on. There are some things that kind of emerge of the two religions, even though, of course, more with the Jewish religion. Nowadays, they have a rabbi. So this rabbi came here to try and make them go to the official religion. But some of them, they said, I don't want to have a new religion, because for them the religion that their parents have transmitted to them, that was their religion. So even though they did not know Hebrew, now they are starting to learn Hebrew. Some of them, some years ago they started learning, but most of them they still don't know. And they, of course, have their own prayers. Some of in Portuguese and so on. So it's a kind of a different religion.